Hello guys, welcome back to another episode. This is episode 3 in the series. So last time we ended up going through Petalburg Woods. We caught ourselves a Cascoon, Silcoon and I do believe a Tailo as well. So we're adding to the dex total quite nicely without rushing it through. We also managed to level up Wingull as well in preparation for the upcoming gym battle, which hopefully I can get through today. If not, it will have to be probably the episode after, but I think we should be alright today, to be honest with you, because we've only got a few more battles. So obviously the biggest problem that we had from last time is that Wingull's only got 1 health. I don't particularly like to use the berries up too much because sometimes they can come in handy in other battles in certain situations. So for now we're just going to run with Trico and level them up a bit more. So obviously I fixed the audio problems from last time, which is good going, and hopefully I'll have no further ones, although that sounds like foreshadowing in my eyes. I also feel a lot more relaxed now because this is the 3rd video in, whereas before I'll be honest, I felt a bit sheepish about it because it's a bit weird talking in a room by yourself, but you know, we can overcome hurdles, can't we, when we put in our effort and try. So, lovely quick battle there. I do believe this will probably be the same outcome as well. Yeah, she has a Lotad and a Shroomish. Now, Lotad is luckily part water, part grass, so using Absorb is neutral. Let's heal up Trico just a little bit before going into the next fight with Shroomish in case of the effect spore. For any of you that are watching, if you decide to post comments that want me to somewhat explain natures, types, anything related to Pokemon in that sense, by all means just comment down and I will try and address it in the next video. If not, and you're already familiar, then by all means, I know it may sound silly, but some people have not always, despite popular belief, not everyone has played Pokemon before. I was about to call it Pocket Monsters then, that's hysterical. So, there we go, that's the effect spore. So, luckily it's paralysed. Now, Quick Attack still has priority, even under paralysis, but we will find out very quickly whether or not the attack goes through or not. Like that, for example, RNG gods, not in my favour today, so they must have woken up on the wrong side of the bed. Oh, twice in a row. And that's not helpful to me. I was looking at the graphics yesterday, guys, and I've got to admit, they look relatively okay considering that it's a channel that's just starting out, but I think if I start to actually get some form of success and get some viewers in and a few subscribers along the way, I think I may well invest into something a bit more of a digital creating platform such as Adobe Illustrator or Photoshop. I'm well versed enough in Illustrator, but I'm not very well versed in Photoshop, so it would be a case of actually a bit of a learning curve. I have skipped a few of the trainers, I know, guys. I am just wanting to go and heal up, just because I know fine well that if I don't, I'll white out, and if I white out, it means that I'll then go all the way back to Petalburg, and I really don't fancy the long walk. Not when I am trying to get as much done as I can today as well. Like I said, I only want to break these segments down into about 30 minutes or so. I don't want them to be excessive. Because if it's excessive, like I said, you know, people's attention spans, mine included, because I'm just as guilty. But anything over half an hour, and you tend to drift off. You tend to get bored. I mean, I was reviewing the footage yesterday after I'd uploaded, once it went live, and I was watching it in bed just to see how it all panned out. I think I've got about halfway through, and then fell asleep, which is hysterical because it's my own videos, but. It's one of those things. It was a late night. I'd done a shift at work, and I'd come in, and I decided that I was going to do, you know, another video because I got excited by the prospect of doing one. So this hobby of mine, because it's not going to be a career, it's going to be a hobby. This hobby of mine is actually quite entertaining, and it gives me something to sort of look forward to, and something that I can spend my free time with, which is nice. Magikarp. So I actually might get one because its evolution Gyarados is quite a powerhouse, especially with some of the moves that it can then learn. But if I do decide to get one, I do believe Gyarados also falls under the slow experience group, but its bulk and attack and speed, it hits a lot of marks very quickly, and especially for an early game Pokemon, it's extremely reliable in quick pinches and things. Its biggest weakness being electric, but there's not a right lot of electric types that early in the game, other than maybe perhaps the third gym. So we just need to check. Yeah, but we're good. So this is a double battle, which, funnily enough, for those of you that have played Generation 1, Red, Blue, Gold, Silver, there was no such thing as a double battle, and it's only until Ruby and Sapphire that they actually introduced it. So it's a new battle type that was previously unheard of, which I think is pretty amazing, because the next battle type, if I remember rightly, after that, was triple and rotation battles, and that was all the way in Generation 5, so that's quite a fair few down the line. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, by all means. I actually enjoy the idea of being wrong in that sense. I want to avoid. So that's about Growl's only prospect, is that it will hit. In a double battle, it'll hit both. It's about the only time that I would actually recommend using a move like Growl. So Lotad's gone. Oh, I done that too early. Oh, yeah, I have. Hold on, how much damage is it going to do? Oh, not that much. Right, you're done for now. I don't believe C-Dot learns any other moves other than Bide. I think it does learn Pound, but I think it's an egg move. I'm not actually too sure. I've never used C-Dot before, in all honesty. I've caught them before, but I've never actually used them. I think that's the funny thing. I've caught... If I look to my Pokemon home right now, I think I've got about 950 Pokemon out of the 1024. And there's so many of them that I've never actually used in a playthrough. I've evolved them, I've carried them with me, but it's so much easier in, obviously, the later gens, because you don't actually have to physically train them. You can just let them sit in your party. It's only if they have special requirements that you actually end up actually trying to train them. And I mean, trade evolutions have come a long way since these games, where they were based on either level or trade. And obviously the very, very few then that were involved with stone evolutions. So I'm just going to switch Wingle out. So this, realistically now, from this point of view, this should be a sweep, ultimately. Especially with the trainers. The trainers in particular, this should be a sweep. It should not take that long in particular. So remembering that obviously they're weak to water, and not only are they weak to it by twice, they're twofold, they're also weak to it by fourfold, because ground and rock are both weak to water, so it hits very, very hard. And Geodude isn't actually known for... It's known for having a high defense stat, but it's not known for having a high special defense stat. And obviously, like we spoke about last time, water moves are part of the special. So, obviously we're just sweeping through now. Wingle's just eating up all the XP. Soon we'll catch up to Trico. Like I said, I don't want to overlevel for these gyms, so... I think Trico is actually at the level where her ace Pokemon is at, so I don't want to be overdoing it. I don't want to make them clean, I don't want to make them clean sweeps. If I make them clean sweeps, then it's just redundant. It doesn't bring a lot of joy, does it? You know, I want to be able to cry at the RNG doing me over. I want to be able to just input it all. And because I actually record these voiceovers live as well, it means that you're getting my real-time reaction. Most of the things that are happening at the moment, it's very much just background. It's background noise to me, because I've played these games multiple times before, especially Sapphire, especially Emerald. I've played them ridiculous amounts. Fire Red and Leaf Green, I actually had Leaf Green as a child. My brother had Fire Red, and we used to play them together, and we never actually got any other game other than Gen 3 that we played together. I mean, I do believe we did get Gen 4, we did the moment it came out, I think it was. I got Diamond, and I actually bought Pearl as well, but I gave him the copy. But then, because we were young and stupid and horrible to each other, as brothers do, I then took it off him, and then he ended up buying... I do believe he bought his own copies of both Diamond and Pearl. Alright, so we're starting to get into a bit of a danger zone, because Nosepass is quite a heavy hitter, as you can obviously gather. Now, that's a speed drop, but that's fine. I am surprised she's used a potion there. Normally, they'll only use a potion when they're about a third of the health down, or less. So the fact that she's only halfway there and used one is actually quite bizarre to me, but... You're using Rock Throw, which is better accuracy, that's fine. Now, Trico's ability, which is Overgrow, I need that to trigger. But the only way for that to trigger is for me to have a third of health. I haven't brought any potions with me. I don't want to do that. If we want a potion store, that's fine, but it'd take too long. Right, so... And I also got it wrong, as though obviously a few of you may point out as well. It's level 15 that's her cap, not 14. I honestly thought it was 14, don't know why. Maybe it's that in Emerald, I don't know. But Overgrow's activated because Trico was down low enough, so we ended up dealing a double damage absorb there, which obviously did a lot more damage than previously before. And with that, we have just acquired our first badge. And our first TM. And there we go, guys. Very, very nice. And do you know what? We've made some decent time in there as well, because I think that's only taken about 15 odd minutes from the start of me recording, which is brilliant. So we're just going to trigger a slight cutscene. An Aqua Grunt's just ran up, and that's a Devon worker. So let me go heal us. Let me go heal my team up first. I think this is honestly the most brutal thing about Pokemon, is that you end up spending so many time walking to and from Pokemon centers. It's almost like a relay when you think about it. Right, so is it this house? So if any of you guys have played these games, obviously you've got hidden machines which can activate on overworld sprites. So surfing and cutting and strength to move boulders, and rock smash to break them, and then fly as well to fast travel essentially, which you get quite about midway through this game. This is cut. It is actually a notorious HM in these generations, mainly because it doesn't see a lot of use. For people to use cut in this generation, they basically need to be going out of their way in order to use it. There is no obstacles whatsoever in these games that require you to use cut that blocks the main story or anything like that. So it's actually a HM that can be forgotten about quite quickly. I do apologise guys, because it's a bit cold outside, my nose is running a bit, so if I sound like I'm a bit congested, I do apologise. I don't want that being in your ears. I'll try and stay as far away from the mic as I can when I'm doing so. I think by the way this is running guys, I don't think we're going to be able to finish this little side bit before the end of the video. I think it's level 13 that Wingull learns Wing Attack, and then it means that we then open up to a whole new different world of possibilities, because then Wingull is both a water and flying type in its fullest potential basically. Wing Attack's actually also an extremely convenient move to learn, especially this early on. So I don't ideally want to fight her just yet. I will be fighting these trainers guys as well, it's not like I am skipping them. What I want to be doing really and ideally is getting Wingull to the point where it learns Wing Attack, because then these trainers will be a lot easier. As much as I don't want to overlevel in some scenarios, because we've beaten the gym, this area should have leveled up. It should be equivalent levels, but it's not. For some reason it's underleveled, so, and underleveled Pokemon aren't a problem, but it's a battle of attrition, because even though they're low leveled and probably won't knock you out in one go, they can wear out your Pokemon very, very quickly. And there we go, we've just learned Wing Attack. Yes, I am actually going to switch. I'm going to give Trico a bit more experience as well, because Trico's actually only 2 levels away from evolving. So Grass is also quad effective to Geodude, because it's super effective against both ground and rock. And there we go, Trico is now level 15. Right, so we've just done that one, which is fine. Ooh, and let's see what's RNG. Not a Zigzagoon, I don't want a Zigzagoon. That is a Marrow. That that is something that's quite laughable in this generation, but it's not in later generations, mainly because in this generation it's purely water type. There is no such thing as the fairy type in these generations. Fairy wasn't introduced until generation 6, this is generation 3, so Pokemon like Marill, who would have been part fairy type, which would have been problematic to any dragon user, isn't in this generation. So you will see some notable differences. I'll try and explain if I think of them as I'm playing through this, because obviously I don't have someone screaming at me to say that this is what's happening. And one thing in particular that I do genuinely need to do is I need to start picking up some of these 1% encounters around here. Now, as to whether or not I'm going to be doing them on camera or whether I'm going to be doing them off camera is very much up in the air at this point. I don't want to do anything off camera either, because people can be a bit dishonest with it, and I don't want to be dishonest. I want you guys to see exactly what I'm doing. That's why when I save the game, I just exit the game. I don't do anything else after that. I save the game. You guys know where I've saved the game as well, because I actually show you loading it up from where I left off, and it's as simple as that. And Machop is a fighting type, that is why flying is super effective, and it's also one of the reasons why I wanted to make sure that Wingull learned Wing Attack. If you give me a 1% encounter, I'll be happy. I mean, it's not 1% encounter, but I'll take it. The only problem is, I've not got anything that's going to damage you. Well, Wingull will damage it, but Wingull will knock it out, which I don't want it to do. Now, Nincada is luckily using Harden, so it's bolstering its defences, which is fine. It also has quite a high attack stat as well, so it's quite a bulky Pokemon that can dish out quite a bit of damage, which for a bug type is a bit unheard of. And its evolutions, one of them's an absolute speed demon and the other one has a very unique ability, but unfortunately Nincada is not something that I plan on using in this run, because whilst both of its evolutions have got some prospects, it's not something that I actually particularly want to use in a playthrough, because it gets, whilst it would handle itself quite nicely up until maybe about the 5th gym. The problem that you've got after that is that it then becomes outclassed very, very quickly. So, I do believe this is our next point, and we have not got long at all, so I think it'll be very much a case of I can finish this battle. Always take the free Pokeballs. Always take the free Pokeballs, mate. Right, this will be a Whismur, because the only Pokemon that can spawn in this cave is a Whismur. And Whismur is actually a Pokemon that I do want, surprisingly. I know people will be thinking, well, why would you want a Whismur? Whismur is a normal type. Normal types are either notoriously good or notoriously bad. Whismur's evolution, because it's a 3-stage evolution, is actually quite good in this generation, or at least I find it to be. So what I ultimately want to try and do is capture this Whismur and make it another member of our team. And just like that, guys, we've got our 3rd member of the team. Like I've said before, when I start getting a bit more of a following, I will start doing nicknames. If the channel starts to grow afterwards, I will have a naming spree of sorts. Now, do I have enough time? I have got 5 minutes, but I don't know. I think it's very much a case of I want to save it here, guys. I don't want to end up going slightly over. Again, I do apologise if I sound congested. So, we have got our newest member to the team. Shall we check them out? modest nature, not the best nature. However, for a special attacker, it shouldn't actually be too bad. We have obviously got ourselves Shriko, your bashful, and your bashful nature. So modest nature means that it increases its special attack and decreases its attack. Considering most of its moves will be attack based at the start, that's problematic. However, some of the moves it'll learn later on that I can teach it might not be so problematic. So we shall see how it plays out. But anyway, guys, that's enough from me. I hope you guys have enjoyed the series so far. Obviously, I will carry on making more videos as we go along. This will be now the third this week. So, guys, have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you on the next episode. See you later. Bye.